Welcome back to Raptor-One.
Raptor-One, Voyagers of the Stars. Chapter 9, The Kestrel Halo. The stars bent into chaos. Kestrel Halo wasn't a planet, wasn't even a proper system. It was a snarl. Centuries of wreckage spun in overlapping orbits around a blue dwarf star. Everything from shattered freighters to collapsed stations to fragments of warships. Some had been drawn here by gravity tides, others by magnetic drift, still others deliberately abandoned. Over time, the junk had braided into rings and knots, circling the star in slow-motion collisions. "Beautiful," Juno whispered. Kael grunted. "Suicidal." He flicked through sensor returns. Every orbit's on a different timer. Threading through that mess is like juggling knives in a hurricane. Lyra's hands rested on the yoke, steady. The new band on her wrist warmed faintly, echoing Kael's anxiety. She didn't have command anymore. She'd given that up to the orchard, but she could feel his steadiness bleeding through the link as well, reminding her that he was there, that they were all here. The shard pulsed on the console, painting a path through the wreckage. Thin, precise. Juno traced it with one finger. The next choir post is hidden inside, buried where the Autumn and Alliance won't look. Lyra exhaled. Then let's find it before they do. The pursuit. They weren't alone. Alliance patrols ghosted at the edge of the halo, their signals cutting in and out behind the debris. Vigil cutters and heavier cruisers, running sweeps, searching for something they couldn't name. "They're hunting blind," Kael muttered. "But give them time, and they'll stumble right into us." "And the Autumn?" Lyra asked. Juno shivered. "Already here." The shard pulsed in her lap. Lyra didn't need confirmation to believe her. The Autumn were always a step behind, always pushing closer. If the Alliance didn't catch them first, the Autumn surely would. Into the halo. Lyra guided Raptor-One into the wreckage. Hulls drifted past close enough to scrape the paint. Rusted tankers, broken habitats, shattered satellites still winking with half-dead lights. The halo groaned and shifted constantly, collisions tearing new fragments loose that spun off into fresh orbits. Kael cursed as a derelict battleship slid across their path, massive guns still jutting from its cracked frame. "This place is insane. One wrong move, and we're scrapped like the rest of them." The band on Lyra's wrist thrummed, a pulse of Kael's tension bleeding through. She caught it, steadied herself, and pushed Calm back down the link. His shoulders eased a fraction, though his hands didn't leave the controls. "This is what the orchard gave us," Juno said softly. "Not command. Concord. We move together, or not at all." The choir post. After hours of careful weaving, they reached it. Hidden inside the hollowed core of an ancient orbital refinery, protected by layers of jagged debris, was the third choir post. A sphere of fractured crystal hung at the station's heart, humming faintly, surrounded by webs of dust and shattered girders. Unlike the Silent Sea or the Glass Reef or the Ash Orchard, this one was dormant, silent, cracked, waiting. Juno pressed the shard to the console. Its light lanced outward, threading through the debris to touch the sphere. The post awoke. Light flared, scattering dust like fireflies, the hum rising into a clear chord that resonated in their bones. The shards in their possession answered, aligning in resonance. The bands on their wrists thrummed in harmony. The choir was almost complete. The door beckons. On the NAV display, lines of light etched themselves into being. The three choir posts, the Silent Sea, the Glass Reef, the Ash Orchard, aligned with the halo, triangulating a point in deep space beyond even Alliance charts. A door. Lyra felt her breath catch. This was it, the place all the shards were pointing toward. But before she could speak, alarm screamed. Contacts. Kael shouted. Alliance cutters, closing fast, and Autumn signatures inbound. Both sides, same time. The bands on their wrists pulsed hot, urgent. For the first time, Lyra felt the weight of their shared concord in full. Not her command, not Juno's vision, not Kael's tactics. All three of them, bound together, facing the impossible. The door's open, Juno whispered. But if we want to reach it, we'll have to survive both of them first. The alarms howled like wolves in the dark. Lyra's eyes darted between two converging signals on the scope. Alliance cutters sliding in from starboard, their formation tight and disciplined, and Autumn scouts cutting in from port, each moving like a thought with red eyes burning. Two predators, neither willing to yield the kill. Kael slammed a fist against the console. We've officially become the galaxy's favorite chew toy. Juno's voice trembled, but she held the shard high, its glow steady. They don't care about us. They care about what we're carrying. The Alliance wants to control it. The Autumn want to erase it. If either side wins, the promise is gone. Lyra gripped the yoke. Then neither side wins. Caught in the crossfire. The cutters fired first, arcs of blue energy designed to disable rather than kill. The Autumn answered with lances of searing red, their beams slicing through wreckage, igniting spinning hulks that became deadly obstacles. The halo itself groaned as collisions tore new fragments free. Raptor-One darted through the chaos, weaving between slabs of twisted hull and skeletal towers. Lyra's focus narrowed until only the shard's line mattered. Thin, impossible, cutting through the debris like a thread through a needle. Kael barked orders without hesitation, his voice sharp and confident. Lyra, 2 degrees port now? Juno, veil us in resonance. Make them chase shadows. Juno closed her eyes. The shard pulsed, bending light across the wreckage. On the scopes of both Autumn and Alliance ships, Raptor-One multiplied, 10 copies scattering like shards of glass. Beautiful, Kael muttered. Now let's not die in the next 30 seconds. The Concord Bond. The band on Lyra's wrist burned hot, echoing the pulses of Kael's sharp focus and Juno's fragile but unshakable will. For the first time, she felt their intentions as if they were her own. Kael's instinctive mapping of every threat vector, Juno's deep attunement to the shard's song. She leaned into it, letting go of the captain's instinct to carry it all. She flew not as one pilot, but as 3 minds braided into one. When Kael flinched at a cutter's net, she rolled a second before he shouted. When Juno gasped at a shift in resonance, Lyra banked into it, finding the hidden corridor before the Autumn scout snapped the trap. For a fleeting moment, they weren't 3 people, they were a chord. The rift opens. The shard blazed, synchronizing with the halo's choir post. The fractured sphere pulsed once, twice, then tore a seam open in space itself, a rift of white light, humming with impossible energy. The door. Juno cried. It's opening. But the Autumn saw it too. Scouts broke formation, arrowing toward the rift with inhuman precision. The cutters swung around, weapons charging, determined to capture or disable Raptor-One before it could reach the seam. Lyra's heart hammered. They would never beat both in time. Unless. She looked at her crew, felt the warmth of the bands, the weight of the bond they'd forged. We pushed together. One burn, one chance. All in. Kael grinned through clenched teeth. That's the kind of suicidal optimism I've been waiting for. Juno whispered, Concord will open what command cannot. The last burn. Engines roared. Kael poured every ounce of power into the drive, bleeding systems into the thrusters. Juno pressed the shard to the console, flooding the ship with resonance. Lyra gripped the yoke and let the bond guide her hands. The cutters fired, nets, beams, storms of blue light. The autumn struck, lances of red, precise and merciless. Raptor-One became a shadow, not dodging, anticipating. Every shot missed by the width of a breath, every trap snapped shut on empty space. The wreckage itself seemed to lean aside for them, as if the halo recognized its song being carried forward. The rift widened, a blazing mouth of light. Lyra shouted, voice raw, now? Through the door. They plunged into the seam. Light engulfed them, stripping away the stars, the wreckage, the crossfire. For an instant, Lyra felt every shard, every choir post, every lost voice carried on the promise. The weight pressed down, terrible, vast, infinite, and then it spread across the bond, shared, carried, lightened. And then they were through. The stars returned, but not the same stars. The sky was unfamiliar, vast, and empty, as if they had slipped sideways into another layer of the galaxy. Ahead, in the darkness, something glowed. Not a planet, not a station, something built. The final destination. The place the architects had left behind.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to be notified about upcoming releases to the Raptor-One series, please subscribe. This has been a Bad Karma Drone production.